Oh, look at that. Live in studio, Ryan.
Yes.
So this is super fun, something a little bit different. As we all know, there's a few boats showing up in downtown Morehead City, right, Ryan?
Just a few.
Just a few.
Not sure.
So what's happening this weekend, Friday and Sunday?
Well, the OPA World Championships, Offshore Powerboat Association, has usually the World Championships in Inglewood, Florida, but with all the COVID and everything going on in the country right now, they decided to cancel it. They're having it here because they canceled Inglewood, and our local boy Jeff McCann agreed to have the World Championships here.
So cool. So I'm Josh with TRIWORKS Studios. We're using our facility here because we want to bring in a cool, what do you call it? Racer, captain? What would you call yourself?
Team owner, racer?
A racer. So we have a racer. And what would you be considered, Ryan?
Man, I could be considered a lot of things.
Consider a lot of things.
I'm just a nice guy.
But you're a guy that knows you love boats.
I just
boat talk.
Passion, yeah. Boat
so
talk.
Today's little deal is going to be about boat talk. So, Loren Peters, owner of LPC Racing, has a Facebook page, website, all kinds of good stuff. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a commercial general contractor. Day in, day out, and then on the weekends, I'm kind of obsessed with boats, so that's my deal.
What got you into the obsession with boats? Do you come from a family pedigree of racing,
we
or
going to the Lake of the Ozarks?
So you're from that area,
yeah. So Kansas City, but it's kind of a weekend destination, and over time it's become more of a almost like a full-time place that we like to call home. So I grew up into boating. My parents had boats, friends had boats, and then as I got older, we'd watch the races growing up at the lake. Lake of the Ozarks is like the powerboat mecca of the world.
It is.
So if you go down there, you're just going to see, bad boats just running up and down the lake all summer long. And so growing up, getting to see some of these guys racing and watching the shootout, and eventually I was like, I want my own boat.
That's pretty cool.
By the time I was 18, it was like, just one boat after the next, and just kind of, climbing the ladder as far as the power and the size of the boat. And then, before I know it, I'm looking at race boats. And
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So what was the bug that bit you that said, I'm going to go buy me a 32 Doug ride?
I think I was about, 10 years old, and one of my dad's subcontractors pulled up to our dock, and he had it was probably like a 98 Scarab or 96 Scarab, and it just all red. Maybe it was older than that. Maybe like early 90s.
Sure.
Old Scarab too.
Yeah, and this guy was in this boat, and it's just pop, 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 pop. And
the sound,
it's
right?
It's just the sound, and he's just this badass dude, with this good-looking chick in his boat. I'm like, man, that guy's awesome. I want to be like that guy when I grow up.
We got to the bottom of it.
So I know nothing about like the go fast boats. I don't even know if that's what you call them.
Yeah.
I know I love the way they sound.
Yep.
I love the way they we live down the road on the intercoastal, and so when you guys come to town, we can often see people testing their equipment coming through up, and it's cool to hear them coming.
You can hear
see
them from
going.
a mile away.
Oh, it's amazing. It's just, it truly is one of those things. I get the addiction behind that whole thing, and I know nothing about it. Like, I don't know what it costs. I don't know what it takes to create something like that. I don't know the progression and all that good stuff. So, like, you currently have a catamaran style boat. Again, forgive me, I don't have the lingo for this, but tell me a little bit about the boat you race with now.
And then you got the cats. So just like a catamaran sailboat, twin hull. I started out in V-bottom boats, as pleasure boats, and then when I started racing, I got into my first cat, which is a pleasure cat.
Yeah.
Still a fast boat.
Yeah.
Like extremely fast. I mean,
and when you say extremely fast, like, what are you running?
160 miles an hour.
So you have a pleasure boat that runs 160 miles an hour.
Yep. I actually just sold it a few weeks ago.
So what boat was that?
It was a 40-foot MTI 2013 with twin 1350s. So it's got 2,700 horsepower.
So 2,700 horsepower. What does a boat like that weigh?
That one's probably 10 to 11,000 pounds. We actually never put it on a scale.
So that's still pretty heavy for a boat.
Yeah,
like,
it's heavy. Maybe even more than that. Maybe closer to 12. Just depends on.
But because of the weight, was that a?
It's just pleasure boat. So you have 7 seats. You got like stereo in there. You got
160 miles an hour.
We can explain like how like the catamaran, even though it's a heavy boat, how it packs air and how the main reasons
lifts it, right?
So so the faster you go, the lighter it is.
The wider the tunnel, the more air you can pack typically. It just depends on all the style and the weight of the boat. So
the science behind the race.
There's a lot of science behind it, yeah. So our race boat actually only weighs, it has to weigh a minimum of 4,400 pounds at the end of the race. So
that's with fuel. The idea.
With fuel.
So you
Yes.
do a lot of testing, like what my fuel
So we have to
burn is.
Yeah,
Everything.
we want to calculate, how many miles we're going to be running.
Wow.
And we look at, our prop selection. There's a lot of things that go into figuring out how much fuel we're going to burn. We usually burn about, on average, 2 miles per gallon per race.
2 miles per gallon.
2
And
miles
that's
per
on
gallon.
EcoBoost.
Yeah, that's actually pretty.
That's pretty good, actually.
It's pretty
Not
good.
bad.
Yeah. Well, they're 300 XS 2-stroke motors, so they're oil injected.
What's the fuel
Outboards.
tank capacity? I'm curious.
28 gallons a side.
Okay.
So,
Now, in the class
typically
you race, I know the boats have to be 28 to 32 foot, correct?
28 to 32 feet. Yep.
And everybody runs
Minimum
the
63-inch minimum tunnel width.
the same horsepower in the super stock. So everybody's running 300s.
300
and
XS.
They hand you the computers before the race,
Yeah,
correct?
so they'll give us. They actually will bring us ECUs before the race, like at our drivers' meeting, usually the day of, or the day before, and we take those and we have to pull ours off the motors, put the ECUs on that are provided by OPA.
No way.
That way, no one's taking their computers and
Tweaking them.
Hopping them
Yep.
up.
So that way we kind of keeps
Fair.
the playing field level with everybody, which is, it's great. So that way you don't have to worry about somebody. You spend all this money on a boat. Last thing you want to do is go out there and somebody's cheating. And you come all this way, put all this time and effort into it. So
By category, right? So there's a layman guy like me out there watching the races. There's multiple boats, multiple sizes. Like, so are there categories of
there
races?
is, yes.
Are you racing to be who's in first? Are you racing against the clock? Like, what determines who wins?
It's first. So
the first one through is the one that wins.
yeah, we'll when we start the race, typically it's about 50 to 60 mile race.
So when you start a race, you're running 50 to 60 miles is the length of the race.
Typical for a race, yeah.
Wow.
Well, the course is what? This course
Which
is
puts you at 100 plus gallons of fuel.
2.5 miles is this course, I think.
I think it's longer than that.
Because I know each course.
I think this one's closer to 5.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, 4.5, 5 miles. I haven't seen the.
the track.
layout.
They'll tell us, where they put the bueys and.
So does your boat get faster towards the end of the race due to the weight?
It does, yes.
So
Not
this all
a
goes in
lot,
this-
maybe a
little
mile
bit.
an hour, but
Yeah,
it
mile an
starts to
hour is
feel a little more
everything,
flighty too because the weight change.
So prop selection is key because you start a race, you're 300 pounds heavier than you are when you finish a race, and you got to think about, okay, when we start to get light, it could get a little loose.
Yeah,
so
the prop selection, typically we look at water conditions.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. So
You carry
we're going to
multiple
run a
props.
bigger pitch prop, when it's flat water like this race. When we got really rough water, you want more acceleration because, you're slowing down a lot
Gotta
around the
get up.
corners because you got, you're fighting
Massive.
the waves and, that's more acceleration.
So
the
can you
smaller
walk us
smaller
through
pitch.
like coming out of a straightaway into a corner? What's going on with you and
So Mike and me have to communicate a lot. So
again, in a boat, there's two people.
two people.
One guy is.
I'm wheeling. So
By wheeling, you're steering.
I'm steering. I'm looking straight ahead.
And
I'm
there's
looking at the pin.
Yeah, because the other guy's throttle.
He's watching this trim. He's watching his RPMs, his miles per hour, water pressure.
Keeping the boat from blowing.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
blowing engines and stuff.
So there's a lot of stuff going on at one time coming to that corner to 115 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour.
When we come into the corner, typically we like to be set up right around 85 when we hit that pin.
Okay.
We try to keep our speed going right through the pin. If we sink down into like the low 70s, high 60s, it scrubs off a lot of speed when we're coming out, and our boats don't have a lot of torque. So turning into the corner is key with him and me, making sure we don't turn too hard. We have a nice sweeping. We hit that apex, and it just kind
So
of
the people at home, when you come around the turn, you're banking at around 80 miles an hour.
That would be a great turn.
That'd be a greght turn.
That would be a
it's
great
safe to
turn.
say between 60 and 80 miles an hour is where you stick at.
Yeah.
So are you
So
more
that's
of
crazy.
a flighty kind of loose guy going around the corner? Or are you a negative trim? Let's
No,
get
you
the boat in the water.
actually have to keep the boat in the water because what'll happen if our boats, when we're going down the track, you said track, but going down a straightaway, and I try to turn the boat, and Mike's got it trimmed up all the way. We're on 115 miles an hour. The boat's not turning. It's not going anywhere.
No.
'Cause we're out of the water. I have no steering. I mean, it's just like it'll steer, but
Yeah.
if I keep turning and turning and turning, finally the boat will
Catch.
set down and it'll hook.
Oh,
And then we
crazy communication between you and the team.
yeah, so
team
I can feel the boat though when he starts to set it down. He'll trim down, nose starts to drop a little bit, Bob backs off a little bit, and you can feel it starting to go.
The sponson
Yeah,
set.
it's almost like a scratching noise. It's like, and you can feel that sponson,
That's amazing.
catching. And then as soon as the boat's set, it'll be like, hey, the boat's yours. And I'll start wheeling, I'll turn, and the boat will turn like it's on rails.
So top speed on your boat, roughly, I guess you're also in category you can only run so
ours
fast,
is about
right?
115, 116.
So 115, 116 miles an hour. As Ryan was talking about, boats rolling, rock and rolling, packing the air underneath of them.
That's a fast race.
So that's a fast race, but things can happen, right? So we have a video that we've kind of pulled up, and so in the past you've had an accident before, like it's flipped. So we're gonna watch that real quick and have a little bit of commentary on that. He's gonna hit play here. Yeah, stand by. It's pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, so this is Key West 2019 last year for the World Championships. You and Team Allen. It was definitely a sketchy day, which I think you fared pretty good considering. If you watch the video and you're
good friends
you're
of ours.
here hanging
really
out.
good friends of ours. Yeah,
Back on the program.
Billy and Larry.
Hold on 1 second. He's pulling it up. Look, you can see right there. And then there's a lady talking about a ski boat, because we're pulling this off of YouTube screen captures. Look, can you see it play through right there? Look. Boom. Crazy, dude.
So about the time the motors came out of the water and it
So
got
you're the
quiet,
one on to be clear, you're the one on the far side.
As we're
Here we
coming
go,
down, you're looking at the
cockpit
boats
there.
Yeah, this is your in cockpit scene here. Check that.
So,
you're
I'm
in the
driving,
left.
and Mike is throttling. And right now, we're coming from the outside mole in Key West, coming down straight away, headed towards the corner near the harbor there. And I have Billy Allen and Larry Pinniger
kind of see him through the window.
on my starboard side of the right, and he's coming up on me, and Mike's telling me, hey, watch out, you have Billy on your right. He's going to try to push you to
Right
the
there, I see his
inside.
canopy.
And so I see him, he says, don't let him intimidate you. And I said, don't worry, I'm not going to. And then we keep getting closer and
Holy
closer,
smokes,
and we bump,
dude.
and as soon as we connect,
Oh my gosh, dude.
there's no room for nowhere for the air between the two boats to escape. So essentially we're one wing, and the pressure builds underneath both of our tunnels and pushes us up into the air, and then we spread apart as we go up, because we're
What's going through your mind at this point? Like seriously,
well,
like I saw you see the air tanks.
I
You
saw
see the
Billy
tanks.
go up, and immediately the first thing I think of, this is kind of stupid, but hey, my mom is standing there watching right now.
Oh geez.
And I'm like, oh no.
Does everything slow down
It
in
just
that
slowed
moment?
down. It was like a second. I was like, I'm gonna die.
Isn't it crazy? Like your mind goes straight to the family aspect.
Yeah, it was
like
weird.
who cares about nothing else?
Yeah.
Oh man, my mom.
Yeah, she's watching right there. And
Was
then
she right there on the mole, the end of the mole?
She was right. Yeah, she couldn't actually see it, but
Okay.
she was like right there, and so I knew that as soon as it happened, people would be like, hey, this.
Yeah. So here it is again. Holy smokes.
So
dude.
how fast are you going when it started? You felt that lift, that blow
Right,
over.
our data logger, which we keep in the boat, we watched it and went over the progression of the flip, and you can kind of see the different stages when we hit the nose. We were going 108 miles an hour when we our first impact. So
the impact, did it like
we hit our nose.
Any injuries?
You can see it if you. I don't know if you can slow it down, but you'll see the nose hit first. It rips off the front of the boat, and then kind of trips us. We come back, and the rear hits the water, and our seats actually ripped out of the.
Oh, the cockpit.
Yeah, they got pulled out because our harness was attached to the seat, and the force of that impact.
Any injuries?
Yeah, you'll see Mike's leg and my leg. We got our legs flew up and hit the dash and cut them open pretty bad, and oxygen bottles, which
I saw
they're no longer mounted inside the.
You changed
the
a few
cockpit.
things.
They're mounted in the tunnel now, in the back of the boat. We actually redid the entire boat from top to bottom. We
Oh my God,
we had to
dude.
add a lot of safety features. So you can see there's the oxygen bottle and Mike's leg.
So that was only that flip only lasted less than 2 seconds,
Yeah.
really.
Did you have to
But it
grab the
felt
oxygen to breathe it? Or
Oh
you
no!
guys were good?
The first thing I thought is I'm getting out of this
Yeah.
thing.
So tell us a little bit about that, because even like the last race, we had a flip over.
Yeah.
And
A buddy
the
race.
crowd
Yeah.
immediately goes, "How are they going to get out?"
Yeah.
Right. So tell us about the safety
So we have
stuff built into
we have an
these
escape
boats.
hatch on the bottom, on the floor of our boat, between the two tunnels, and it's pretty good size. I say it's 2 foot by 30 inches wide. So as soon as we flip over, we go through like a training with a safety crew at the beginning of each season to get we taught our dunk test, and they'll flip us over in a pretend capsule in a pool, and we practiced flipping upside down using our oxygen. But the first thing I thought of was, get out of my seat first,
Yeah.
get on my harness,
And you have to just think like step by step, like slow everything down. First, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
And you can't panic, because if you panic, that's like probably
Yep.
where it just totally breaks down. Get out.
Yep.
Is the hatch easy to get out of the floor? It's still
Yeah,
in the
it's
floor.
just a lever. You just pull it and then just push up on it and
Pops open.
so we have to, right ourselves first, and then I realized, hey, there's water coming in pretty quick, and
It fills up fast.
Mike was actually going to take my wheel off if I couldn't get out. That was
Sure.
You see him look over, and he's trying to
Thinking about you.
But I'm already upside down at that point. I'm like, let's go, and so he pushes me up, and
So
we got
is
up
there
there.
a sequence like, okay, you roll over, okay, we roll
Yeah,
over. If
we talked about that.
that way now everybody's trying to rush that hatch at one time. You're like,
Yeah. We just stayed pretty calm, and it was like, okay, he pushed me up, he got the wheel off, pushed me up, and then he came up right behind me. We both made sure both of each other were okay.
Did it change? So that accident you had at that time, has it changed the way you race? Has it made you better, or you know the boat a little bit better?
I think
like
safety wise, yeah, safety first and foremost, I think, is what we think about when we're racing now. Not only as far as the boat itself, but the things we do while we're on the race course, and like driving and watching out for other boats, and because things can happen, obviously, like that, as you've seen.
And so both boats went at the same time. How about the other guy? Was everything cool with that dude as well?
I think his boat fared a lot worse than you guys. His canopy failed.
Oh man!
So that was
scary.
When I saw that boat, I was like, man, they're really lucky that they didn't get hurt worse, because it broke their firewall. It threw the driver's seat into the dash a little bit.
And what's crazy
Bulkhead pushed him actually almost
on the
up
steering
against
wheel.
the wheel.
So
Yeah,
that could have
he
been
almost got trapped for a second, and he did get trapped.
Yeah,
and but he was able to get out. Yeah.
What's crazy is you see the video. The video really never in real life shows you the impact. It looks like you just glided, flipped up, but the water is pretty crucial, or a pretty mean thing when you smack it.
What were you saying? You said that your data logger said you hit the water at like 14 G's.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
When the boat hit, and that's
no broken bones.
No broken bones.
See, that's insane to me. Like
I was
that
pretty bruised
sudden.
up.
Yeah. The harness worked.
My
chair didn't.
All my legs were swollen because we hit the dash when we flew up. It was just like we were ragdolls.
So that went from leg day at the gym that morning. That was
No.
from okay.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to get well, and then you again had to take?
It was fine. We were in the hospital for just a minute, and then we came out. And we went back to the boat. First thing is like, how bad's the boat?
How bad's the boat?
They're like, not good.
Can we train these motors?
Motor was hanging off. One motor was hanging off by the tie bar.
Geez.
The tie bar looked like a curly Q.
Oh yeah.
And
how long did it take you to rebuild the boat?
And
this is what year was this? The flip
last year.
Last year.
Last November.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we actually
Pulling
took
up
the
on a
boat,
year.
brought the boat back, stripped everything off the boat, just bared down to the hull itself, and then sent it off to a fiberglass guy that we know who's one of the best in the country, Al Minen, in Illinois, and had him basically. We blueprinted the bottom, we rebuilt the canopy, we pulled out basically our entire roll cage inside the boat.
Rebuilt it all.
Put Schedule 40 in carbon fiber and Kevlar inside there.
So you fully de-rigged it?
De-rigged it, yeah. And then we went through and we created like a water deflector around the top, so that way if we did.
This is a true passion.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, every time he's talking, I just think about dollar signs.
Right.
Anytime you say carbon fiber, it's dollar signs.
Yeah.
Anytime you mention salt water and an outboard engine, it's
not
dollar
good. Yeah, right.
signs.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like
both motors have since then been replaced.
Yeah.
So.
And so even like at the last race we had here, the gentleman that flipped over, like we were eating at Redfish afterwards, and those guys were immediately working on the engines. And in my world, I'm thinking, oh my god, if my boat flipped, saltwater in the engine, that's a salvage, that's done. But I mean, I think in a lot of cases they just rebuild them, clean them out, salvage them. What is the what is it? Just
the
depends.
first thing is get the motor running as soon as you get it out.
So get the motor running, gets the crap out of it.
Get the motor running, yeah, and then take it if you can, dunk it in a 55-gallon bucket with
That's cool. So I know one of our clients, Chalk and Gibbs, actually sponsored you in the last tournament. I think we're planning to do that again this weekend. How important are sponsorships and things like this to you guys as racing teams as you travel and do things?
This is only our second year racing.
Yeah.
So in this class, and so sponsorships to me are a new thing. So I'm working on getting sponsors, but learning how to go about that.
Sure.
Is one thing. So right now my construction company is
it's footing the bill.
So I'm
You are your sponsor.
I am the sponsor at this point.
Gotcha.
So. But sponsorships are important to a lot of teams, and as of last year, seeing what it costs to actually race, it's not cheap by any means.
So what is the average weekend race? And not worlds.
We were talking about this last night, and to be honest, I think if we had to just say like an average, saying we don't break anything, we don't have any major impacts for us, I'd say 15 to 20 a race probably.
So $15,000 to $20,000 to come to the little Morehead City and put on a show, just one boat.
That's like
That's if you don't break.
If you don't break anything,
that's
everything
like
goes
the travel
great.
expenses. You
Food,
think about everything, getting the boat here,
testing,
entry,
fuel,
all these
everything.
different things. So 15 to 20. Some teams their budget's a lot higher. Some of the super cat teams, they're anywhere from 50 to 100,000 a race.
Wow.
Man.
So and then if we break something like the boat cost us, I'd say I don't know, it was maybe in the range of 150 to 200 to put it all back together. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like the super stock class is the most competitive class because everything's pretty much set up the same. It's not like, oh, my pocket's deeper, I'm gonna put a bigger motor. Faster. It's more
skill,
driver throttle skill, prop selection, setup. So it makes it more fun to watch for everybody else. Yeah. And I know as a racer myself, you want to race people that are kind of in the same bracket instead of
same category.
Yeah, same category.
It's fun when we're all, it's like a stock class, and I think we're, Ed Smitty, he's striving for our class to be more like almost like NASCAR. So we don't have, everybody's running the same setup. It's a fair.
Comes down to the racer.
Yeah,
like
it comes
team.
down to like prop selection, making sure your boat's like set up just right.
Yeah.
You stay within those parameters, and that's what makes it fun for everybody. So the fans can go out there and they watch our class running together, and they see, hey, these guys are, got one guy that's way out here and one guy that's way back here.
Right.
Yeah. You're coming to that first corner and everybody's fighting, and you see.
That makes it fun.
It's
people
like
change
motocross.
positions. You make one mistake coming into a corner, and then another guy gets you, and change.
So tell me where people can
positions.
find you. I know you're the website, lpckc.com, right?
Yep.
Also on Facebook, LPC Racing.
LPC S-27, LPC Racing is our Facebook page. So if you want to follow us, we're always posting things on there, weekly as far as, races to come for testing out there and what's going on.
And to contact you about sponsorships. See, I'm just trying to help you out here.
Sponsorship's huge, man. Yeah.
The more followers
LPC
you get,
Racing S-27, any sponsors we can get, we're more than happy to talk to anybody.
Cool.
We don't discriminate by any means.
So in the past 2 years of racing in this class, what's your favorite venue? like Cocoa Beach or Sarasota or here? Key West.
This is a great venue. I think Key West is fun. There are two different race organizations. One is RWO, Race World Offshore. They are Key West, and then you have OPA Racing, which has been around for a really long time, and they put on the most events. I think out of OPA, I'd say. Cocoa Beach and Fort Myers are pretty fun. Fort Myers, I don't know, maybe I'm partial to that because we took first last year. That was fun. But
now Cocoa Beach is a great place.
Cocoa Beach is a lot of fun.
Flip of a coin if you're going to have
really
6
rough.
foot seas or nice glassies.
Yep.
So it's like, I can see that being fun. But you just don't know what you're going to get on what day.
Yeah, I
any
think
given day.
Cocoa Beach, and then obviously our hometown Lake Ozark, lake race is
and that's
fun.
a newer race. That was this year the first year
they had it last year in the spring, and then this one that they just put on this fall was just only super stock and super cats. So it was all catamarans. It was 3 race series, which was fun. It was all crammed together. We liked the setup of how they did that.
That was a pretty good race.
But look, dude, thanks for coming to Morehead City. Seriously, coming from here, being from here, I think it's super awesome to have this type of event here.
Yeah.
I hope it's not like a one-time thing. I hope it does become a reoccurring theme. I love to personally go down and see all the boats and all that good stuff. But good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can do this again before you leave, after maybe a race or something. Hope you win. That'd be super baller. But yeah, we'll come back to the studio hopefully with a few more people. But yeah, follow us on Facebook, our TRIWORKS Studios, and also LPC Racing S-27.
S-27.
So follow us, man, and thanks for watching. We'll be back later.